Welcome back to the R-Rated Podcast. The R-Rated Podcast. This week's guest is... Welcome back to the R-Rated Podcast. Today's guest is Missy Andrea, and we're going to talk about bad set experiences. I know people might be like, what does that mean? How can you have a bad set experience? Like, set is glamorous. Set is fun. And I'm like, no. We're going to be very honest. We're gonna keep it real.
Yeah.
There's been bad set experiences. Can you define a bad set experience in your opinion?
In my opinion, it's honestly anything that you feel walking away from, like, thank God that's over with. Like, thank God I'm done with it.
Wow.
But not in a way where it's like, oh, like, I'm just so tired. Like, I'm glad I can write. And a genuine, like
something happened.
Like, I never want to work with these people again type thing. Or, like, thank God, like, I dodged that bullet. Like, that's very much a big
You know
thing.
that if you leave work and you feel like, I never want to work with these people again, or I never want to see these people again, it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Like, something happened.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't know. I just know it's like, in a weird way, it's like we all talk about it. Like, as crew members, it's everything. We all talk about it, and we all gather, and we all complain. But it's also like this weird hush-hush thing.
Yes.
Like, I feel like it's like, don't talk bad about it, because if you talk bad, like, word's gonna get around.
Yes, that's
bad.
exactly what I was going to ask you.
I don't feel like that should be. I don't feel like that's necessary, though, because I feel like we should be allowed to have those negative experiences, because that's just part of life. I don't think it's fair.
It's part of work too.
Yeah, and I don't think it's fair to say that everything is perfect all the time.
Exactly,
because that's not real.
Not.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And some people are just terrible to work with. And sometimes it's not even they're terrible to work with. You just don't mesh well.
Exactly.
And that creates a weird environment, you know?
And this is exactly why we needed to make an episode about bad set experiences, because I feel like, you know, obviously you hear the good stuff. You see, even online, like, you can follow different, like, pages that show, like, oh, like, movie set, like, you know, experiences or things on sets. But, like, they never really, like she said, talk about bad things that are happening. And it can, like, range. Like, when I say bad things, it doesn't mean like
there's the normal,
you got hit in the face at work.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's like the normal, like, let's
we're
maybe
behind. We think it's normal
for us.
But
it's normal.
What's like, okay, yeah, explain, like, what's a normal bad set experience?
I mean, okay, I think when people think about a bad set experience, they think of it as just like a regular bad day at the office. Like, everything is going wrong. Like, you know, I'm behind on my things, and you know, I'm just everyone feels very hostile today. And sometimes it is that. It's very similar. And other times it is, no one is on time. No one is ready. We are all behind. Everybody is fighting. Nothing is going right. We're losing scenes. We're losing daylight. Like, it's a very...
Especially with daylight savings. We're losing daylight.
Oh my God. That's been so stressful.
It literally, it was like 4:30 and it got, like, dark, and I was like, I started yawning. I was like, I think it's oh wait, no, we're podcasting tonight.
It's time for bed.
Yeah, I was like, wait, no, I can't.
Yeah. No, but I mean, everybody's definition of a bad set is different. A lot of people tolerate things more than others. People that have been in the industry a little bit longer tend to, I see both sides of it, where they're like, I'm not dealing with it, I don't care.
Right.
But I also see the side of, well, I've been doing this for so long. Like, of course I care. Like, I have to care.
Right.
You know, like, there's never a good in-between. And I have learned to find my in-between with bad sets. That is powerful, because I feel like not a lot of people can sit here and say that. And I feel like it's happened to me too, where, like, I've been in situations where I'm like, this is really uncomfortable. This sucks. This is not professional. But you're at work. So how do you handle it? You know, like, what's the limit? Like, what's the tipping point? When are you going to, like, put your foot down and be like, all right, this is bullshit. Like, I'm either stepping away, or I'm just going to, like, keep working and, like, stay in my lane and not deal with this. So I have yet to walk off of a set I'm already on. I just recently, I've considered it. Let's put it that way. There's one where I definitely considered it. Yeah. But there was one recently that I quit. And I've never quit a job before. Like, I've never walked away.
Before,
but it was kind of close. Honestly, it was, like, within a few weeks.
Okay, but honestly,
that's still pretty good. Yeah, I gave him a heads up.
I feel like that's still being actually considerate. Yeah, but obviously, like, you probably had some guilt feeling about that, because that's not, like, who you are as a makeup artist.
I did, until he started continuing the behavior
I
decided to walk away
Let's
from.
rewrite. I want to know the story. Okay. Like, how did we get to this point?
So
why did you quit?
I booked a job with somebody for something super big, like this big special effects thing.
Yeah.
And I love special effects. So I'm trying to get it back up on my resume a lot heavier more. I've mentioned before, I love doing beauty and I love like the basic camera ready, but my whole thing, I did this to do special effects.
Right.
So I hopped on the opportunity. I knew it was low budget.
Which is okay.
Yeah, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But I was like, no, this will be great for my portfolio. Right. And like, so far it seems pretty decent because originally it wasn't as big. He downplayed it. And then we started talking.
Like downplayed the budget or like what type of work you'd have to do?
Downplayed the amount of work I would have to do for the budget.
Okay.
And
see, that's already a red flag.
Yes. Red flag number 1.
Communication is key. It's in any relationship.
Yeah. Work relationship.
Especially when you're working together. Yeah. And especially if you're like, oh, like, I want you to create this vision.
Yeah.
If you're not communicating, like, what the vision is and, like, how we're going to make that vision happen with, like, budget, time, like, just, you know.
Well, and that was part of the problem is he did not want to, you know, have a budget. I mean, at one point I did openly
Wait, he thought it was gonna happen for free?
No, he had a budget, but it was low. But I did eventually like ask, like, hey, I kind of need a little bit more since this is more than I expected.
Right.
And he met me in the middle.
Okay. That's
which was fair. Yeah. I was like, okay, I could do that. Like that way I feel fairly compensated and you feel like you're getting you know, what you need.
Right.
And so I was like, that's fair. Yeah, that's fair to me. But it just kept everything I would say, there was just so many like mixed messages and everything. He would tell me one thing and I'd be like, okay, great. So to recap, like the next day, like let's recap like XYZ. And he'd be like, no, like you never told me that. And I was like, I told you yesterday,
excuse me,
this was not doable in the time that we had, nor the budget.
Okay.
And it continued and it just continued. And there was a lot of like, okay, we'll push it back like a week. And I was still working on another.
The project they're pushing back. Okay.
And I was still working on another movie.
Right.
And I was transparent about that. I was like, your project is important to me, but it is not my number one priority right now. I am doing 4 different things for this project currently. So I will get back to you.
Yeah.
But you are taking up all my time.
But you're communicating that. Yeah. Like, I will get back to you. I'm on this. I'm doing this.
Yeah.
But I can make this time for you if you tell me what you need.
Yes. And eventually I did ask. I was like, look, just based on everything you're asking, like we are not seeming to understand. We're not meeting in the middle fully.
Yeah.
I feel like we need to push this back even farther. It's okay. From my experience.
Okay.
And what I need to do, because this is a big job you're asking me to do and my assistant to do.
Yeah.
But because I'm working on a movie, I don't have enough time. Like
do you have to prep for it too for this type? Like,
I had to make like a bunch of like hair transfers but like for the whole body, like I had to make a bunch of hair transfers and I had to go out and run errands in between.
So it wasn't like a one night thing. Like you're gonna spend like a couple days on this. Okay. Yeah, and time is money. I think people forget that.
Yes.
Time is money, even though you're not like physically sitting on set, maybe constructing this or making it. I don't know like the steps to how to make it.
No, it's okay.
But you know, I feel like people don't understand sometimes like the time that goes into these things, these prosthetics, these like big things that they're asking.
Yeah.
And just because you're not like spending that time on set and they're not physically watching you do it, that doesn't mean that like that time doesn't need to like happen, you know?
Yeah.
So,
well, and that's the thing is like obviously it is a managing like multiple jobs, which I'm fine with. But you know, I was back to back movie 12 hours a day and you know, starting at like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, going until then. And not that I wasn't staying up late to like do what I could.
But you have other responsibilities on set too. Like you're not gonna, you know,
I need to be in top tier for my current project.
Right.
You know, and so eventually it got to a point where I was just like, look, I'm not feeling good about this. Like I'm letting you know, like we need more time so I can give you what you want.
Right.
And eventually it turned into a whole thing where he's like, look, if we have to spend more money, eventually fine. But the weird thing is he's like, you know, I'm not worried about that. That's the small things. Like what I'm worried about is this attitude that I'm getting from you. And I was like,
oh. And your communication's all over text or phone call or in person?
This whole spiel was in text.
Oh, okay. I feel like how can you really read someone's like tone of voice unless they're putting like a lot of like periods and like angry emojis.
The only thing is, I know, I've just hit him back with the angry emoji. Can we push it back? Yeah. No, angry react. But I was just kind of like, I'm not having a bad attitude because he's like, I need the attitude of like, we'll get it done. And I'm like, I've been having that attitude, but I'm also telling you realistically what you're asking for.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. If you're right. Okay.
And so it turned into this whole thing. And I was just like, look, with all due respect, I think I'm going to have to drop out here. Like I don't appreciate the way you're talking to me.
Yeah.
And if we are like this offset, I can't imagine that we will click on
And
set.
this is before you're even shooting. So like you don't want to bring bad energy onto the set because it really does like trickle down. Mm-hmm. Like if, I don't know, like I like all the sets that I've been on lately, like I can just feel it, like the difference. It is so weird. Like I one day, like everybody was having an off day, like things were slow, like we were 2 hours behind schedule. Mm-hmm. I like step on set and it's like everyone's just like silent and just like kind of like like making like, you know, like that like sigh, like I don't want to be
it's
here.
Such an awkward
and you like ask like, hey, like, you know, can you do this? And they're like, yeah, like it's just like snappy, like and then it's just like awkward. You don't want to be there. You don't want to work there because you're like the vibes are off.
What's also the thing though too is like when people just don't work well together too.
Oh God,
that creates an environment.
Yeah,
and that's, I mean, like not everybody's gonna get along, and that's okay. But in my experiences, it's also that thing of like the environment on a set really matters.
Yes.
Like more than people think about, because obviously people say like, oh, it's just for the talent.
No.
But like it's not just for the talent. Like we all have to have a better mindset.
Exactly.
In order to have a better set. But like bad days are fine.
Like every day's a good day. I'm like, no.
You know, literally but that's how it feels.
Cries.
I truly feel like it's painted as this every day is a good day type thing. Yeah. Unless you're actively in the industry. Like everyone I know that's not a part of this is like, oh my God, like that's all so cool. That's all so glamorous. Like
literally,
you know, like you're meeting the celebrities. Hollywood has even been glamorized in Hollywood. Mm-hmm. And so like I do get people who tell me like, oh my God, like your job it's so glamorous. Like you get to meet and work on all these celebrities, which I'm not all like, I haven't worked on a lot, but like
you're working your way up, which is so cool.
I just work with someone really big. And so I'm like,
are you allowed to like talk about it?
I mean, I can say who it was.
Okay, yeah. Like, we'd love to know.
Danny Trejo?
Dude, he's a fucking OG. He's so nice.
He's the sweetest. He picked up my hair and told me it was awesome. And he's like, let me brush it. And I'm like,
wait. Danny Trejo wanted to brush your hair?
Brush my hair. That's my magnum opus.
You should put that on your fucking LinkedIn profile. Or your...
That's a good
idea. Danny Trejo wanted to brush my hair.
Yeah. But even then, too, that was a wonderful day, but that set had some really bad days. Oh. And I had some moments.
That's some tea. Mm-hmm.
Well, like, for me, in my end, personally.
Right.
Because every department...
Everyone's experience is different, too.
Yes. And every department has their own struggles.
Yes.
And so just because, like, hair and makeup is having a bad day doesn't mean that
the
camera's having a bad day. It could be a great day for them. But that's also why I think people don't understand, like, it's not always a bad set day doesn't mean everyone had a bad day.
It's just, it could be you, like just your department or just you specifically.
Yeah.
Like I felt that too when I was doing Fatal Attraction, COVID department, when we had a positive case, it felt like shit. It felt like we were doing something wrong. Like we were like not doing our part in our job, like our role in the fucking crew. Like that's what it felt like, even though like this person like went out over the weekend and got it over the weekend because like you usually get it 3 to 5 days after being exposed. So like it didn't make sense. Like it made sense that they got it over the weekend basically. But we still feel guilty because like now you have to hold production and you're like, damn, like
stuff gets pushed back.
Now we can't do that scene because that actor has to go home. Like it was a bad day for me, bad set day for me. But everyone else was like, fuck yeah, it's a half day. Like we get to like, leave early, right? And I'm just like, oh, I have to tell the producers, like, I have to send their main actor home. Like this is bad. Like, you know, so bad days. Bad
days. But I think it should be allowed to be talked about.
Right.
Like, I just don't get why there's this stigma of, like, we're not allowed to talk about that sometimes we really don't like our jobs.
Yeah. Like, it's okay to not like your job sometimes.
Like, I love my job more than anything on the planet. I couldn't see myself doing anything else. Like, truly, I couldn't see myself having another career field. Like,
Me neither. Like, what would I do?
Yeah, I fit exactly, like, I'm where I'm supposed to be in terms of what I want to do with my life.
To be now.
Yes, let's go.
Sings.
Listen, hey, before I did makeup, I thought I was going to be a singer.
No way!
I have a backup plan, but like I hope I don't have to do that. I prefer makeup.
I have a plan B, but I don't want to activate that.
It's plan B if all else fails, not because it's my genuine plan B.
I love it.
But, I mean, there are some days where I'm like, this was hard. I'm drained.
Do you ever have days after set where you just kind of want to cry in your drive home? You're just like, that was hard.
I have.
That was a long day.
No, I have.
I think the like long hours, being around so many people, and you have to like keep it together the whole fucking time.
Well, and I also, but that's also the thing is there is a big responsibility of hair and makeup department because we are in direct contact quite a lot with main talent.
And
we are one of their impressions of like if they're having a bad day, like and that's okay. Like I mean, you know, I have hugged and consoled crying actors. I have listened to them rant about things currently going on. They've told me what's happening, like currently as they're upset texting. Or it's even like, oh my God, I have the most amazing news. And like, you know, like it's a big responsibility. And so that's also, that can be like mentally hard as well because I'm having a bad set day.
Right.
And that's
and
allowed.
then you have to,
but like, I'm still expected to keep up the energy.
Right. Because it's like, you have to like make sure you're saying the right things too. Because like, what if they like get thrown off by like what you, I don't know, like, do you stay quiet and you're like, tell me more, like a therapist, or do you like give them feedback? But then they're like, I'm talent. I'm just like telling you how I feel.
Base it on the person, and usually if they're not very chatty, I won't be very chatty. But usually like actors are pretty good about letting me know when they're frustrated, and I'm usually I'm very big. Like I'm very big in general on like it's okay to have a bad day. So that's pretty much what I do. Is I'm just like it's fine to have a bad day. Like if you know, and I'm also very big on like, listen, I know production says we need you right now. But if you want an extra minute, like I can get you done a minute earlier. Like, it's fine.
I love that. Yeah.
Like if you want a minute, take a minute.
You're working with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, because everything's so like rush, go. Like they tell you have like an hour for makeup, but then like
I get like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I never get a full hour.
Speed makeup instead of like speed dating. It's like, all right, how fast can you, you know,
and sometimes that does contribute to my bad day because a lot of it too, I can get in my head and be like, I just don't love how this looks. Like I'm not happy with this.
Right.
And you know,
sometimes, because even in film school, they don't teach you about like makeup,
not even a little.
Like what you need for that, what a set kit fee is, like why that's important, or like, you know, working with your makeup artist, giving them some time, maybe even like including them on the lookbook of like how you want your actor to look, just so like they're more in the loop of things. Yeah, I don't know, just like all that kind of stuff they don't really talk about because it just kind of gets like described as like, oh, you need a makeup artist to make the actress look pretty, which I'm like, that's like a fraction
that
of
is like the most basic description.
Like okay, imagine yourself in the morning when you wake up, like, and then are you gonna go and be like, I'm gonna act in front of all these people now? Like, no, like the makeup artist has to like transform you into like whatever character you're gonna be, and like that can take to like 2 to 3 hours. I mean, there's prosthetics even longer sometimes. Like the Grinch took like 8 hours.
The Grinch took forever. That's why I can't wait to do stuff like that though. I'm like, oh my God, that sounds so long, but I'm so ready. But I know that even fun days like that
have bad days.
Yeah.
Or have bad times.
I'm gonna get to that point, and it's just like it's gonna be a thing. Yeah. But at the same time, at the end of the day, I do have to remember, like, I do love my job, but I'd still love my job because I think it's okay to express that I am not happy with things. Exactly. And I just think it's a stigma that we have to let go of. Like, we should be allowed to say, like, I mean, I get you don't want to badmouth anybody directly. I can agree that like it's
uncomfortable to like
like
sometimes it's hard to stand up for yourself, but I'm like, we have to beat that like barrier, like stand up for yourself.
There's a brand that I worked for, and like I'm not naming names, but that was one of my first times on a set where I really considered walking away because I was like, they were just terrible people. They were the stuff they were saying within earshot, even of the models. I was like, this is horrible. Like this environment is
that's
awful.
Different type of toxicity. That's not, that's a bad, plus you don't want to be around people like that, like at a work environment. Like really, you're going to talk shit about like the talent and the people you're working with. Like it's supposed to be a team thing.
And so that's the thing is like, I had a bad day because like I felt like I was stuck in a position where like, that was the first time I ever had to be like, am I allowed to say something? Like, I don't know. And eventually I kept kind of quiet, but then they were being very nitpicky, which is fine. I am okay with people being particular and wanting a specific image. That's perfectly fine. Yeah. I understand the need for things to look nice and slick. Like, that's totally fine with me. Okay. But, you know, I'm going and I'm trying to do my job. They won't let me take talent back to the chair to fix something big. And I'm trying to go and I'm trying to go. And as I'm working on it, they're actively like, well, what about here? And what about this spot right
like
here?
Like,
do you see? They're nitpicking as I'm going, but I'm not even done.
Oh,
and so eventually I was just like, you know what? Like, I've never spoken up, but I'm going to speak up.
Yeah.
And I just flat out told them, like, I need you guys to back off and let me do my job.
Yeah.
And I could tell everyone got kind of uncomfortable right away. And I could tell they thought I was the problem because you just spoke up. Yeah.
But see, that's so typical. That's so typical. Like, if you're the one that speaks up and stands up for yourself, you're like the bad guy.
Well, I thought that was pretty formal and funny.
No, that's great.
Like, I was just like, just please back off and let me do my job, please.
Yeah.
Like, I know what I'm
doing.
Did
they?
Yeah, I could just feel. I could feel the awkwardness.
The eyes on you.
I could feel the eyes on me. You could feel that moment. You could feel the tension in the room shift even harder.
I could feel it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was very uncomfortable. But I mean, I did cry on the way home from that set because the environment was just so horrible, and I just felt so. Not even just the models, like even me, like every little thing I did. It
like
was
they were like criticizing it.
Every little thing. Even after I would say before I send them out, is this okay? Yes, this is okay.
And then they would talk shit.
And they would nitpick everything the minute they got it in front of the camera.
Right, so they wouldn't say it to you, but then when it came... See, that's like...
But that's exactly why I'm like, hey,
I'm glad you said something.
What do you need me to fix? Because you guys have a vision.
Right.
What is this vision?
And sometimes it's okay if you don't always hit it right on the first mark. Like, you can like,
and
I feel like...
I'm super fine with that, too.
Right.
And that's why
but
I always
to be
ask.
like, oh, yeah, it looks great. And then to talk shit once it's in front of the camera and be like, you know, that's...
Right. And I understand, like, once or twice because, like, everything shows up differently. Yeah. But it's, like, every single time.
Yeah. That feels like targeting you.
Yeah. And that's the thing is, like, I'm not perfect. I'm not a perfect makeup artist. I never will be. I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to have to fix things. And that's okay.
That's how you become better also.
Oh, yeah. But also... I haven't really had a problem like that before. Like, people tend to be very happy, and there's maybe a couple things that I have to fix. Yeah. Of course. Because that's just... Things play on camera differently.
Right. But it's like your attitude and how you, like, you know, deliver and send the message, like, to someone when you're like, okay, like, can you change? Versus, like if somebody was like, hey, like, can you just, like, fix the, like, wing eyeliner? Like, let's say. Right. Versus, like, I don't, like, that doesn't look good. Can you, like, I don't know. Yeah. Like, it's just, like, how you, like, your tone of voice. Yeah, your tone of voice and the criticism, the way you deliver it can really, like, determine how you make someone feel. And it's like, you're working together still. This is a team. Even if they don't know you, they should still treat you with respect.
Well, and that was the problem is I was like, you guys don't know me and you're still treating me like this way. Because it was like, I'm not asking you for validation. I'm asking so that way we can
work together,
get it going.
Yeah.
Because at one point they had made a comment where they said that, like, they were already really behind after they
were they blaming you for that?
They didn't directly say
but,
it,
like,
but they called me in.
Oh.
They said they needed, like, makeup real quick because I was working on multiples at a time. Yeah. So I was like,
and you're the only one?
Yes, I was within earshot.
Like, that's also another thing. I feel like that happens a lot. Like, people will hire one makeup artist to do what's the most you've ever done, like, in one? I feel like I've
definitely, the one that I can remember is every day I had to work on 9 different people with multiple look changes in a day.
See, 9 people for one makeup artist, that's a lot.
It's a lot. Luckily, though, that one was great because he was wonderful and he understood the weight that he put on me. And he was patient, and it was a wonderful
it's doable,
set.
But, like, also communicate that. Well, like, let's, like, plan time, like, set time that, like, you're gonna be working on 9 people.
But that's the difference between how that attitude alone can affect a set. And I understand that everything is, like, time is money.
Right. But that's why you plan for it. You know? Like, that's why you do all this pre-production. That's why you're, like, meeting with all these department heads, with the makeup artists, and, like, talking about, okay, how much time are you gonna need? Can we get this done in an hour? Can we get this done in 2 hours?
Right, exactly.
You know, like, this is all supposed to be part of the pre-production.
Well, and it's also just thing, like, that same one, the same company, what they had sent me was fine. But as I got there, it started changing, which I'm fine with change. But then, you know, then they were mad about the fact that it didn't look exactly what they wanted. But I was like, you guys... didn't tell me this is what we were going to do. You guys told me it was just this, and I'm willing to accommodate because I have the product. Right. However, like, let's just take a moment to breathe because I will get it done for you. Yeah. But you got to give me...
You got to communicate. Like,
like,
all these stories, I'm just like, if they just communicated.
Yeah, but that's the problem.
Just told her,
and a lot of that is kind of what makes a bad day a bad day. Is like there's a lack of communication. But it all goes back to we should be allowed to talk about those bad days. Yeah. Because bad days are normal. They're okay.
Mm-hmm.
And just because we sit there and say I had a really bad day on set doesn't mean we're trash talking anybody in particular.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that we are
and it doesn't have to
ungrateful.
Be a fight with that. Like, can it just be like, okay, like we didn't like agree for this one moment and then just kind of like talk it out and move on? Or
right, like we're adults.
It doesn't have to drag on, especially because like when you do these, you know, projects, sometimes they're like, you know, two shoot days, a week, a month, like depending on like
and you have to
how long of a project.
People.
And you are seeing them every day. You spend fucking 12 to like 14 hours a day, depending on like how long they can shoot, like afford to shoot, because it gets pricey after the overtime money hits. But yeah, like you're literally gonna see these people tomorrow again, so it's like you don't want it to be awkward, so you're not like trying to like have it drag on, but like sometimes you work with so many different personalities on set that like you're not gonna vibe with everybody.
I recently
don't force it.
I did recently work a set where I did get into an actual like argument with somebody for the first time.
Oh my, what was that like? Wait, actually I can share a story too. I'm not proud of it. Oh God, but I can admit it.
No,
okay, you go first, and then I'll tell you mine.
Okay, great. There was somebody that I worked with recently, who I could tell from kind of the get-go that there was a little bit of a rift.
Ooh. Okay.
There was never anything outright rude, but you know how you could just tell,
feel the
like,
energy.
we do not mesh, but we work together, so, like, we're gonna be fine.
We're gonna be fine.
But towards the end, I thought it was fine. And I was like, okay, no, like, we kind of worked through that patch a little bit. I think it was fine.
Our rough patch.
Yeah, like, it's no big deal. Like, we got through that. Like, we got comfortable. We figured out each other's vibe a little bit.
Yeah.
And I thought it was fine. But then gradually, I started hearing these little remarks and these little eye rolls. And I'm just kind of like, okay, like, that's fine. I know, but I was just like, okay, like, you're stressed. That's okay. I get it. Like, I try not to take anything personally when that happens on a set. Yeah. Because sometimes I get snippy. Yeah. And then I have to be like, I'm sorry that I seemed like that was towards you. Right. But it wasn't. So like, I just automatically assume it wasn't a problem.
But you can take the accountability. Yeah.
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 Oh no, yeah, I don't like to be rude about it. And every now and again I will just kind of casually move on from it. Cause like we'll have our little, you know, I like to have my little tantrums. Yeah. My little personal like, oh, I hate this.
Yeah. You know, like, why am I doing this?
And if you're around for that, I'm sorry. But then eventually they approach me very aggressive.
Oh, okay. Well, that's already like, cause for me, how you approach me, like I'm not
that affects how I come back.
Yeah. Like
I'm not gonna lie.
Treat
like
me how you want to be treated.
Like you said, when it's kind of those things where like you have to step back and really think about it.
Yeah, you're like, I'm at work.
Yeah, I'm at work. But when it happened, I look back on it and I have to laugh because I know me. Yeah. And you know me.
The hoop earring.
You know me. You know I'm very like quick to it. And I'm just like, I don't let anybody like talk to me a certain kind of way.
We have similar personalities when it comes to that. Like I feel I'm very big on respect and how certain people talk to me, especially males. Because we have to fight.
We have to fight for that respect all the time anyway.
All the time. All our life and we're still gonna have to do it. We're gonna have to do it to the day that we die. Like it's just I already like accepted it. But like, will I tolerate the disrespect?
Absolutely not. Yeah. No. Well, and that's why I just didn't tolerate it because I mean I had just gotten to because after that first shoot, that was when I decided like I am no longer allowing myself to feed into this bad energy and feel it because I'm tired of feeling these bad days and pushing it back because no, I'm not allowed to have a bad day. I'm not allowed to talk about it. I'm not allowed to like have those feelings because that makes me a bad artist. People are going to hear negative things about me and it's going to spread. But it's like, if it does, so what?
Who cares?
Like I wouldn't work for you guys again anyway.
Right.
Like realistically.
Right. No.
But so that's why once this one happened, I was just like, no.
So this person comes at you. Like, I don't know.
Literally came at me and like by saying, dude, what the fuck?
Oh, that's not a nice way to
No, and you know me, and
you're like,
no, I literally did laugh because I like, and normally outside of set, it would have been crazy, but I literally just went, what?
Yeah. Honestly, that's literally how I just reacted too. I laughed it off. I was like, haha. Because I'm like, we're not doing this right now.
But they were just they were such at like a high level the whole time. And I was just like, okay, well, I apologize if XYZ is the problem. Yeah. But no matter what I said, it just never seemed to get resolved. So I was like, okay, we're just going to have to agree to disagree because no matter what I'm saying, it's just not good enough for the scenario. Yeah. I was like, I think tensions are high between both of us. Okay. Let's just let it go. Like, it's fine. Yeah. But they did not want me to talk. They just wanted to do the talking. And eventually I shut it down and I was kind, I was calm, and I was just like, look, if I have done these things, I apologize. It was never my intention. I can hear what you're saying. Right. I understand that it's a possibility it happened, and for that, I'm sorry.
Right.
However, I'm apologizing,
mm-hmm.
and it wasn't intentional, and I want you to know it's not intentional, and it's not personal.
Right.
But it just kept continuing. It was a whole 20-minute ordeal. And so eventually I finally was like, you know what?
Giving me PTSD.
I know. I eventually was like, you know what? Like, you're done talking to me this way.
Good.
Like, I shut it down real quick. I was like, you are done talking to me this way. Because at that moment, I started to have a bad set day. And that day was really good for me.
And then it just turned into like a bad day.
But that's why I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. And I was open and honest. And I went to the producer and I said, I need you to know this in case it comes up. If it doesn't, that's fine.
Yeah.
But I do want you to know that this did happen. And I apologize, but it happened.
How did the producer take it?
They were fine with it.
Okay.
It was fine. This was I had worked with them
the
third time.
Were they like Switzerland, like plain neutral, like in the middle? Like, all right, I'm not taking sides.
All they really said was, okay, like, thank you for letting me know.
Good. I think that's professional. Like, you're taking the information, like you're I'm not
gonna
to
lie
what
about
they're
it.
saying.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie about it.
But I feel like he's like, I don't know if the producer's a guy or a girl, but anyway, the producer is not like necessarily siding with anyone. So that's also very professional of the producer, I feel like.
But even things like that help take, because that was towards the end, on the end, and so I was saying my goodbye rounds.
Okay.
But that alone already helped shift the bad moment of the bad day, because it's the way that people handle the environment. It's the way that they go about it.
Right.
But I mean, I just think, we all follow, like, all of us in the industry, we follow the meme pages. We all know the truth.
You're like, that's me.
We're suffering. Like, this is hilarious. But at the same time, no, we're not. But yes, we are. It gets a great, I love my job. Like,
I love my job too, and it has its bad days. It's okay.
I couldn't be doing anything else. But yeah, just like anybody else who loves their job that's not industry related, there are going to be days where they're like, I hate today.
I don't want to fucking be here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like it'd be kind of psycho if every day was perfect.
Yeah.
What are we in Pleasantville? Like,
no. Yeah, it's very much giving Pleasantville though, when it's like
this.
And
is
of
real
course,
life.
and I'm not saying be unprofessional, and let it be known you're having a bad day. Like, that's
there's balance to when you can lose your cool.
right. And obviously, as professionals, like, we don't want to do that. We want to keep it neutral. We want to try and like keep.
You want to work it out. Like, you're gonna see them again, possibly. Even if it's the last day, like, you might bump into them on another shoot.
Yeah.
Once you really start working in the industry, you realize how fucking small Hollywood really is. It sounds crazy. Like, it's true. Hollywood's not small. It's
Hollywood
fucking small.
is
everyone
big.
knows everybody.
This big.
Yeah. And it's like high school. Like, if you sleep with someone, like if the freshman sleeps with the senior,
everyone knows about
it.
Like,
the actress that wants to be an actress sleeps with like a producer. Like, we're gonna hear about it. Yeah. It's gonna fucking circle. Like,
or even just weird little things like I've noticed, like people I've been meeting, and then I see people I'm already following commenting like, "Hey, bestie," and I'm like, "You guys know each other?"
Yeah, I literally just had that same experience on Instagram like a couple days ago. I was scrolling. And one of my friends, she like did a campaign, and then there was a guy I recognized in the campaign, and I was like, "What? You
guys know each other?"
Yeah, I was like, "They're working together."
Yeah,
cool.
But that's also
Small
something
world.
to keep in mind. Like, you might have a bad day, and you might really not get along with somebody.
Yeah.
But at the end, I understand that we have to keep it professional.
Yeah.
But I also think it's okay to sit there and say, like, hey, we just don't get along.
Right.
We need to find a medium.
Yeah.
We need to figure this out. Because bad days are inevitable.
Yes. They're going to happen.
And there's so many days. I have been on sets where literally not one thing has went right the entire day. There are things, too, that when it comes to these bad days and these bad environments, that people, I have also learned that you take them and you learn from them and you adapt it to the next situation, which is why my original shoot with the brand is what prepped me to walk away from this other person.
See, if you didn't have that first bad set experience,
I probably would have went through with it,
and you wouldn't have known how to handle that, like the next one. And you know what? That's not gonna be the last one.
No.
We're gonna have so many.
We're gonna have more. We're gonna have so many more.
We don't
bad
even
days.
know which ones those are gonna be.
Yeah.
We're probably gonna think like, oh, this would be a great shoot, right? Going into it, and then you're like, ah,
this is a lot.
What the fuck?
But I love the fact though too. Like, I love that like the meme pages in a weird way are becoming like bigger and a more because it's a joke, but it's like it's also serious. It's also bringing light to like genuine scenario, and it's like like we all tend to kind of cope with humor, but I also kind of love that because I feel like not obviously in our generation is very different, right? But I feel like back then, like, it was just like a hush hush. Like,
you don't talk about your feelings,
and I feel like that though. I feel like when I was in school, I was really fed like about the professionalism and like
yeah.
how to hold it, which is valid. I'm not saying that they suck for that.
Right.
But it was a thing of like, I remember I had an instructor who told me like that they got a call that their dog died on set and all they had to do was be like, okay, and finish the day, and like couldn't get emotional, couldn't do anything about it until they just got in their car and drove all the way home. And I'm like, I just don't think that's acceptable.
That is so,
I don't think that's right. Like, we are human.
Yeah,
we are human.
Exactly.
We're going to have bad days and we're going to have these things. And like, yes, you still have a job to do.
Yeah.
I totally get it. Like, I totally understand. Like, you've worked with me.
Yeah.
I'm very big on like, I need to get my job done. Like, this is the priority. But that's also when it came to the whole like kidney infection thing, and I had my bad set day from home,
right?
Where I was like
you're overworking yourself too. Like you have to like, you're working these long hours. You have to think about your health and like what it's doing, even your mental health, not just your physical health, like everything.
But that's why I'm so big on it. We should acknowledge these bad days because I think mentally it's good for us.
Yes,
it's good for us to acknowledge it because like crying on the way home sometimes. Girly, I love me a good cry on the way home. Hell yeah. Okay, sometimes you just
that's like my moment where I'm like, I can be weak in this like
Like,
moment.
let me turn up Kelly Clarkson and just.
I was like, all day on set, I have to have my shit together, and now I just fucking scream.
Right, and I think we should. We obviously do need to be professional, and we do need to have our shit together, and we do need to like go with the flow. But I also have been on sets, and I love that I'm on sets when it's very clear and we can acknowledge 2 days rough.
Yeah.
But we're going to keep going. Yeah. We are a team.
Yes, we are.
And it's going to keep going.
We are a team.
Yeah. But I think I just love it. And that's why I'm so big on the meme pages and like people who are coming forward and like talking about these things because it's important.
As like we're doing right now, like on the podcast. Like people ask me all the time, they're like, oh, like what do you talk about? Like about the entertainment and film industry. And I was like, different experiences, like trauma that we go through on set. I'm like, we need to talk about this shit because like people think it's all glamorous. Like there's so much shit that goes on set that is so taboo. I feel like we have so much like to honestly uncover. Yeah, uncover. Yeah, I was like, what am I trying to say? We have so much to like still discover also because there's so many different things that like are like not talked about.
We're both like newbies in this industry as well. Like even
and to already have all these experiences, and I'm like, I have so much to share with you guys.
I know. No, I could do if we did a whole podcast just explaining like terrible experiences in full and in depth. Like, we would be here for a while. Yeah.
Honestly, like if I came home from work and I like, or if I was like driving home from work and you'd ask me like, how was your work day? And I just like summarize what I did, you'd be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like it's just crazy. Like literally it always grows. Like the sets start to grow. Sometimes they're smaller, sometimes they're bigger. I worked on sets that were like, you know, some in between like 20 people and then like fucking 300 people.
Yeah.
It's crazy how the vibes are, how you have to handle personalities, juggle like talent, and like this whole hierarchy of like, oh, like these people are like the director, the DP, and the talent. It's like a stupid hierarchy. I'm trying to like break all that stuff too. Like, I don't know. I feel like our job as like the newer generation of like filmmakers and makeup artists entering like this industry, we got to put our foot down.
Yeah.
And we got to set boundaries.
Right.
And we got to talk about shit that's not okay, which is
a lot.
But
that's fine. Because that's the thing is like I know a lot of people are going to hear this and they're probably going to think like, oh, this is, like, there are some people who are going to say this is unprofessional. Like, why would you talk about your job like this?
Yeah.
While the whole time I have like reiterated, I love my job and I wouldn't be doing anything else.
You know what? We can sit here and share our bad days and still go to work and make it a good day.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's very powerful and really a cool thing for us to be able to experience. Cause like, I feel like a lot of people do have that risk of like, I can't talk about how I really feel or how work really is, and that sucks.
But that's also why I would never mention name. I don't like to drag anybody through the mud.
Right.
But I'm not gonna lie and sit there and say,
you don't have to name drop, but don't hide your feelings, right?
Exactly. Like now, and that's the thing. It's just my own personal thing. Like that brand I worked for, I will never purchase from them because I know what they're about.
You lost the client.
Yeah, I mean, not that they care; they're a huge thing. But I won't purchase for them. And
but maybe that's why. Do you think they treated you that way because they're a bigger brand? Do you think that has anything to do with that? Or is
sometimes.
that... Okay.
Sometimes. Hey. You'd be surprised. Some people who are, I mean, like I said, like Danny Trejo, like he's one of the bigger...
He's so sweet.
And he's just a regular guy.
He's just a regular, humble guy.
He's the sweetest thing.
Like, I really don't think, like, just because you're, like, the higher up you go, you climb this ladder, like, you're really famous or you're, like, the top of the top now, doesn't mean you should be a shitty person or it makes you, like like an asshole. Like why?
Right.
Like why?
And
like,
well, that's the thing is people like that can contribute to these bad days.
Exactly.
But that's also why I'm so big on like just remember that your bad day, it does not equal like this is what it is.
Yeah.
Remember that you might have a couple bad days in a row.
Yeah.
But that's okay. And you're okay to talk about it.
Right. And think about there's 365 days in a year. If you have 10 bad days in a year, that's not bad. If you have 50, that's not even that bad.
That's not even half. Like, that's a lot, but like...
It sounds like a lot. Like 50 bad days. Like, holy shit, what am I sad about?
Right.
But...
out of 365?
Not bad. Not bad. So, try to be positive, guys. All right. Well, you want to throw out your Instagram before we sign off?
Oh my god, yeah. I've been on here a few times, so if you're not following me, I'm a little suspicious of you.
Yeah.
But...
you're not a true fan.
FX and reality. FX period. And reality. Spell my last name, Andrea, Lity. Because I thought I was super creative and quirky.
I love it. No, you are.
Oh my god, thanks.
All right, guys. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.